So former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson has complained about part of the RNC debate requirements that are coming up. Now, a couple of them are common sense. One is polling requirements. You must be polling at least 1% to participate, 1% of out of 100, of course. And obviously, if he opposes that, then I mean, but he's been meeting that. And I think there was one article that published that, who would meet the debate requirements, and he was in. So he's just got to be eager. If you're at one, you got to be eager to take some shots at people, especially maybe Trump, and get ahead. But there was two requirements in specific that he did not agree with. One was about signing a pledge. So the pledge was if you're going to debate, you got till 2 days prior to the debate. I think the debate's August 23rd, to sign a pledge that says you're going to support the nominee, even if it's not you. So whoever wins, you're going to support in the general election come 2024. This is what he said, though. Quote, however, he said he would have preferred candidates to be required to sign a pledge not to run as a third-party candidate rather than pledge to support the eventual Republican nominee. I think I agree. I think I do agree. So essentially, the RNC's plan, especially with their head chair Ron McDaniel, they're trying to scramble together to fix the pieces. They're trying to glue the pieces together after a totally divided 2022, right? And this is her plan. It's okay. Well, we'll make everybody agree together, but you can't just force it, because if something's divided, you can't just come together and say, all right, everyone, solve the problem, right? No, you got to actually get to it. So Trump's not going. He's going to run third party if he loses. He's already explained that in very simple terms. And then there's some other guys, especially like Asa Hutchinson, who's not going to endorse Trump. They don't want to. They don't want to back him. And honestly, I kind of agree. What does a backing do? A motto that gets thrown around a lot is country over party, right? Well, this says party over country. And again, I get it's in good faith. I just think it's the wrong decision, because that's the message you're sending. And the third party makes way more sense, because you're essentially blocking Trump from doing what he wants to do. If Trump does that, you throw him out of all Republican circles, because he's essentially saying, oh, yeah, you know what? I care more about myself than the nominee winning. So you got to put him on the spot. And just an endorsement doesn't mean it. They did the same thing in 2016, and it didn't matter. A lot of them switched their minds when Trump became the nominee. So it didn't matter. It's not going to matter again. The third party thing would have been way more effective. So I 100% agree with that. And also, really quick before I move to the next requirement, he's complaining about the state sore loser law. If you guys have never heard about that, some states have laws that prohibit quote unquote literal sore losers. That's what it's called, from parties. Not all states, which is why Trump could still run third party if he loses. But some states do block this, which is good, but not enough states block this. The RNC should have made it a third party requirement instead of a pledge to support the nominee. That doesn't do anything. So the other requirement Hutchinson was complaining about was the donor requirement. You must have 40,000 donors, unique donors. So it could be me, it could be me donating $5, or it could be a billionaire donating, right? But it must be 40,000 unique donors to require. I disagree to an extent, because he thinks that's bad. He thinks that that's way too high. I disagree to an extent. I think if you're going to run a campaign, 150 million people vote in an election, right? If you can't get 40,000 donors, I don't think you're probably going to win. But the other side of that is self-funding. So say, a billionaire comes to the race, right? And Trump did in 2016. He wants to self-fund. He doesn't want donations. Then he should still be able to require, or he should still come into play for the debates, right? I think that's a little mixed. I think you could bring them in later, but these first two debates, I would say the first three, whatever number, you could include a self-funder later on, but the first should be really to get to know. You don't want to, it's not really about knowing candidates who are already there. You want to get to know them. So I think the donor requirement is good, though, because to an extent, because then eventually you want to let anyone participate, but you want to see who are the grassroots campaigns, and it's not a bad idea. So, I definitely agree with the first complaint. The second one, to an extent, we'll say.